guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're reviewing the Dior Forever foundation. Now I do have a sample of this, as this foundation again is one of the more expensive high-end foundations. I have previously reviewed the Dior Backstage foundation, so I will leave that link down below if I remember. I am actually so bad at remembering to do that, but we'll give it our best shot. So this foundation has a full-size bottle, which I think is about a normal fluid ounce, retails for £37, which means it is pretty expensive. I have the shade 0N, which I believe is the lightest shade. It's supposed to have more of a neutral undertone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swatch this foundation and we can see how this foundation shade compares to other foundations that I have in my collection. This is the Dior Forever foundation in 0N. This is the LA Girl Pro Matte foundation in Ivory. This is the Nip and Fab foundation in 05. This is the Body Shop Fresh Nude foundation in Chelsea Porcelain. So I believe this foundation comes in 36 shades, and I believe this foundation comes in 36 shades because that's the amount of pictures on the site where it says find your perfect shade. It's the amount of shades listed. It does look to go quite deep to quite pale on the models. However, you'll see what I think of the colour through the application process, things like that. The website seems quite complicated in terms of it has everything from application tips to trying to find your perfect shade to what it's for. It has 2 different descriptions, so I'm going to try and give you my best description from the website as to how this foundation is supposed to look and apply on the skin. So it's supposed to be an iconic long-wearing formula with the complexion appearing flawless, pores tightened. So it's obviously supposed to be not too massive on the pores. It's just supposed to embellish the skin that's already there with a velvety matte finish. It's also available as the glowy formula. So you guys will see what I think of the finish. It doesn't seem to say light coverage, medium coverage, anything like that. I'm assuming not full coverage if it's supposed to look like skin and supposed to emphasize what you already have. Normally I find that lighter coverage foundations kind of say, oh, we're emphasizing what you've already got, but we shall see. So if you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel before you leave. And if you press that notification bell, you'll be notified every time I upload. Hi guys, and welcome back. I haven't filmed in ages. It does feel like ages since I've just kind of sat and chatted to you guys. But today we're reviewing the Dior Forever foundation, which you'll know by the title and by the intro. This doesn't actually look that light to me. I haven't swatched it yet. You guys will have already seen the swatches. It's a cute little sample pot. It's definitely a high-end sample pot. I'm just going to pop a bit on my finger because honestly, normally I would just put it on a palette. But it's not like I'm going to be sharing this amongst anyone. So in terms of hygiene, it's not that big of a deal. But I suppose if you're sharing this with friends or family, or say if you've got an open spot or something like that, it may be a bit more of a hygiene problem. This is looking dark already, dark. So I think we're going to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see a bit better. So I'm just going to blend the foundation on this side with my e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. So it's definitely a couple of shades too dark and quite warm to say it's supposed to be a neutral undertone. It's not so much yellow, it's just quite warm. I'm getting about medium coverage. You can still see some bits are coming through, but a lot is also covered. You don't really see any redness. It does kind of look a bit more natural and skin-like, although varying on the matte side, it is kind of a bit more of a natural matte finish. I'm quite happy with how this side looks. It looks pretty smooth. I'm not seeing major problems. I think it'll look better with a sponge, but otherwise I think it looks pretty good. I think we are going to test if this is buildable because I don't think I've got quite enough foundation around here, so we'll pop a bit more on. So I'm going to pop some there, and then I'll pop some over the cheek so we can see how this builds. I don't see a right lot more coverage building it with the brush actually. I see a little bit more coverage, don't get me wrong, but I don't see a lot. I don't think it's looking more makeup-y though, from me trying to build it up, I wouldn't say it looks like that. It looks pretty natural on the forehead, as you can see. The shade, again, is still off. I don't feel like it's oxidized any further since sitting on the skin, but otherwise I'm not a massive fan of how this is blending out with the brush. I think it's going to look a lot better on the sponge side. We will be testing on this side as well, the build up. And you can see this started to dry down on my face, so actually I may need to remove it. But I'm managing to blend it out, so I'd say put like a dot on, blend it out, then put more on and blend it out rather than do what I did. I'd say we're getting similar coverage on this side, quite a similar finish, but actually looking at like this side where I've started to blend and then this side, I would say that this side looks a little bit darker. I would say from like a foot distance, I can't see a right lot of difference in the finish. Actually, on the brush or the sponge side, I'd say it looks very similar. So to be honest, I think you could use it either way. I am definitely much more of a sponge girl. Like, I use the sponge with nearly all of my foundations. So if you don't have a brush, I wouldn't say you need to go out and get one to use this foundation. But then if you don't have a sponge, I wouldn't say necessarily that you need that either. We are going to try and build up on the sponge side now. So I just put a little bit of foundation on and we're just dabbing it in. Yeah, I'd say we're getting like the colour is now similar on both sides. I'd say it only oxidizes about half a shade to a shade. Again, I'm not seeing like much more coverage, so to me this isn't super buildable. I'm still at quite medium coverage. I'd say it builds very slightly, but not enough to where I would like bother building it. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like you're just using up more foundation for the sake of it. I think it looks pretty good. It's got a bit more of like a natural matte finish. It's not got any kind of proper glow going on, which to be honest, I've been liking at the moment. And you can see just how different it is. I haven't blended it down my neck yet. I don't do that until I'm putting on the rest of my makeup because I find that it helps like you guys see the actual difference. And this is supposed to be the lightest shade. So Dior are just not going light enough still. I tried their Backstage foundation, which I will link down below if I remember. And that was too dark as well. And that was like, I think that might have been the lightest shade or close to the lightest shade. It just did not look good on me. So what we're going to do is, I think I'm going to be able to blend powder products on top. I think I'll give it a couple of minutes to set down. We'll try and blend powder products on top perhaps. I'll let you know if I have to set my cheeks anyway, but I'll be right back once I put the rest of my makeup on. So I'm back from finishing up my makeup and honestly I think the foundation looks really nice. It's not emphasising any of my dry patches. It's settling a little bit into my like forehead wrinkles. It's not settling into my fine lines here though. So honestly, I'm kind of liking it so far. It is like a matte finish. I didn't have to powder my cheeks to blend powder products on top and I thought they blended really well. No sticking, not much patching. I did kind of go overboard on my contour here and made it like muddy. But otherwise, I think it went pretty well. So honestly, I think it's going to last pretty well as like a matte foundation. I have set it like I normally do with my normal setting spray. For me, that is the way to test it. I'm going to test it how I would wear it normally. Do you know what I'm saying? But I honestly don't think it needed like setting so much. So if you don't use setting spray, I didn't think it looked super powdery or anything because I didn't have to set it and it wasn't like ultra matte, which I did really like. So I'm going to let you know the rest of the products I used on my face. So for my concealer, I use the Sleek Life Proof Concealer in Flat White. For my powder to set my under eyes and to like kind of carve out my contour here, I use the Coty Spun Powder, like the lightest shade, which is translucent. For my bronzer, I use the Milani Baked Bronzer in 04 Glow. So I did try some like, new bits. I used my Makeup Geek contour pan in Infidelity and my Makeup Geek blush in Romance. For my highlight, I use the Ofra Pillow Talk. For my brows, I use Benefit Brow in shade 3 and Gimme Brow in shade 3. I also carve them out using the Benefit Boing Concealer in the lightest shade. For my lips, I use the Nip and Fab Liquid Lipstick in Cool Nude. I also use the Dior Lip Addict Maximizer Gloss in 001 Pink. But I don't think it was like very pink at all. I think it was quite sheer and super comfortable and not very sticky. For eyeshadow, I use my Milani Most Love Mattes palette. And for mascara, I use like a mascara that I've been absolutely loving at the moment. I've run out, I think, of my Benefit Roller Lash. So I've been using my Clinique High Impact Mascara. And oh my god, I absolutely love it. Like I just think it does something so nice to my lashes. It's absolutely one of my favourites. And to set my face, I use my MAC Prep and Prime, so Fix Plus. So when I get to about this level, it starts to spritz a little bit weird. So what I do is I'll bust my new one open. I will go through some of that and then I will tip the rest of this in there because I'm not going to waste any product, you know. So that's everything I used on my face. We'll do a couple of check-ins to see how this lasts throughout the day. So I've had this foundation on for about 4.5 hours now and to me it still looks pretty airbrushed. It's starting to look a bit powdery and almost settling a little bit here. Like even though I didn't powder, it's still quite matte, and because I don't produce a lot of oil because I have dry skin, I think like it's becoming a little more matte. So I would say for you guys and gals that need a little bit of like oil control, this might work for you. I think if you're super oily, it might be a problem because it's not drying out as much as some of those foundations do. Don't get me wrong, I would still say give it a go. I think it looks very nice still, like very airbrushed. I don't think it's settled any further into my forehead wrinkles, and believe me, they are deep, so you would see that. But honestly, I think it looks pretty good. Like, I'm very happy with the finish, like very happy. And personally, it's still something I would recommend. However, it's only been 4.5 hours, so we will see how we're doing at like the 8 to 10 hour point. Hi guys, so I've had this foundation on for about 9.5 hours now, and I still think it looks pretty good. I feel like I've got like a little bit of wear down here, like it looks a bit dodgy, like around my mouth, my lines, things like that. But I think otherwise it looks like really good, like my product's held really well. I'm very happy with the finish. I think it looks a touch more makeup-y up close. I think that's because like my skin, being as dry as it is, has sucked some of the moisture out of the product. So it does look a little bit more makeup-y, but not like a huge amount. Like looking in the mirror, it looks very, very similar to when we started. Honestly, I really like this foundation and I would totally give it a go. I'm missing a little bit from here. It's not completely transfer proof. I'm missing a little bit from here. Again, not completely transfer proof, but it's lasted very well. And honestly, I think it's a really nice foundation. I'm just like annoyed that the shade doesn't match. Like it's not even remotely close. Like it looks good with like my neck here. And then I kind of go down to here and then I'm like, no, it actually doesn't match. So that's my problem with it. But otherwise, I think it is a really nice foundation and I would definitely say that I recommend it. So if you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel before you leave. And if you press that notification bell, you'll be notified every time I upload. Thank you for watching.